Hi, welcome back. There's been a lot of discussion, and I've answered a lot of questions lately, and have people calling me or friends texting, and it's been super hot here in Central Oklahoma, very little rain over the last month, and what to water, when to water, how much water should I do? My plants seem like they're suffering from water, and it made me start thinking that we all think we just need to go water when they're wilty. True. But we gotta go back as why we have people are watering every day and some are trying to water twice a day. It shouldn't be necessary. So we need to determine soil types. There's main soil types and there's multiple soil types within a small geographical area. Not everybody will have the same. And how to improve that soil, to be able to reduce water, we first need to know what kind of soil do we have, what are we working with, and how do we improve it. And those methods kind of change depending on that soil type. Clay, sandy loam are the major ones we have to deal with. It's a simple test. I'm gonna do a quick video demonstration on how to find out what you have, and then we can get into a little bit of how to make that better and reduce our watering. You need quart jars, garden trowel, and some water. I'm gonna go collect 3 samples within 100 feet of my garden plot. One for my garden and 2 other ones, and they'll all be different. And if I was going in the other ones, it would tell me I have to do something different. So let me go collect some samples. I'll get the jars, we'll fill them with water, and show you the process and the wait time, and then we'll wrap it up when you can see the results. So I've collected my samples. Like I said, I was doing 3. I have one marked garden, which is my current growing area. One, this is native soil just south of my garden plot. That's not been worked at all. It's just native prairie grass. Not had a chance to do anything with it yet. And then one west of my house, which I have a feeling is probably the best soil of all of it, but it's too far from water. So I'm gonna fill these up with water and give them a shake. Make sure we get it all mixed in there and all the soil in the water. Might have to add more to it, more water, if it's too much of a slurry. But that's my garden one. And we'll do the same thing this south one. You can see how it starts out, water's just kind of sitting on top. That's why we really got to get it incorporated through all the pores of the soil. So it was just really mud, so I just added a tad more water, give it a shake. And that's pretty liquefied, and that's what you want it to be, kind of very liquid. So it'll separate into soil types and sediment, and there should be clear water on top when this is all done. So we'll just go through and do those. A little more water added, really blended. So now what we do is we just wait. I'll check them in the morning. It's 6 or so in the evening. It could take 12 to 24 hours for them to fully separate and to really tell you what you have. But I will follow back up with them in the morning. So it's been 24 hours since I took the samples. I've left them settling and to separate into the different layers of soil types. And I'm gonna go over the results real quick. First thing, I'm gonna show you all 3 next to each other. You should be able to see the color difference on the camera. I'm gonna kind of hold them up, but I want you to see there's definitely, you can tell, color difference in all 3 samples. Might not show up too well on camera, but the 2 on either end are pretty dark compared to the middle one when you can see it in the light. So the first one I'll show you is one taken about 100 feet south of my current garden plot. When I talked about it being just native prairie, hasn't been worked in, I know, at least like 75 years, if it was ever worked. Had some cows on it at times through the years, but it's never been plowed or disked. It was actually under CRP land for 30-something years. So it's been pretty protected. And this one, I don't know if you can see that very well. I made some marks on it. The top, you'll see it when you do this. There's a definite line of clay, of silt, and sand. The next one is from west, and it is, the woods is kind of taking that back over after it come out of CRP. Tiny little sliver of clay, it's probably hard to see. Silt and a very little sand. This is actually the best soil, and I thought it would be because it has woods growing on it. So there's been a lot of organic matter, leaf drop, and things like that through the years. So this is actually really pretty easy soil to work with. The only thing I would do with it is add a little bit more organic matter to it to help with water retention. The last sample, currently growing things, and this was the first year for it. Now, I did a little bit of amending on it early in the year, but not much sense because this is like an expansion area. Had nothing growing on it. I amended it and covered it for the year. But what we can see on this one is a nice thick layer at the top of organics that is separated. Some of the organic material I've worked into it through the beginning of the year. And we have decent section of clay, and I knew that from digging it. Silt and sand on the bottom from right there down, and then silt. I apologize, the camera's not probably picking that up much. And why is this important when we're talking about watering and watering schedules and things? You might turn around and do yours and it's all clay, 50% clay. Well, we need to go work some organic matter. Clay holds a lot of moisture. You can overwater really easy in clay. Problem with clay, it compacts and the roots don't get through it very well. The ideal thing is a sandy loam soil, and mine's a silty loam. All three are some version of a silty loam, a little more than the others. And for me on that, it's just more organic material is always going to be helpful, but I don't have a drainage problem. If you have clay, you're gonna have a drainage problem, and sometimes you can work some sand or some loam or some topsoil in there along with organics to help build that up faster to get some good drainage. And you see the difference in a couple 100 feet area with what I have. So be wise to do this in your own garden plot. It'll help you decide what amendments you need. If you have a real heavy clay, work on organics and work on some sand or some store-bought topsoil into it could certainly help. You have good water retention. I have hardly any. And that's the other video I'm working on and doing the test on now that I'm gonna wrap up, is mulches. I hope this helped you understand soil makeup. There's a whole lot of information online. And there's a chart, you can find it, and I'm silty loam. I knew that going into it, I just didn't know the percentages quite as well. But it definitely makes a difference when you're setting up your garden of what amendments and how to go about treating it. So number one thing people do not think about is soil type when they're setting out to do a garden. Let's go till some ground, plant some stuff. I can't water enough, it's too wet. It all starts with your soil. If you don't understand what you have there, the rest of it just kind of goes by the wayside and doesn't matter. Thank you. If you like this, please hit the like button, please subscribe. Like I said, every time I'll try to get better at doing these videos. The more I do it, the more practice, the better I'll get. I appreciate it. Thanks.